Welcome to Communication Skills for Working Women. I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Rose May. Do you find yourself second-guessing or avoiding conversations because you're worried about being misunderstood?
You're not alone. On this show, we're sharing tangible tools for assertiveness, emotional resilience, and real-life communication wins and fails.
Let's sharpen our communication together. When you feel confident in your communication, everything changes.
We'd love to hear your wins, failures, and insights on Instagram at Communication Skills for Women. Leave a review and connect with us.
Until next time.
Hello, everyone. It's Rose May, and I want to dive more into our podcast that we dropped it on Monday, just about imposter syndrome, right? This pattern of thinking where people doubt their accomplishments and fear being exposed as a fraud, even when there's clear evidence that they are more than capable. It's not just insecurity, it's a pervasive belief that you somehow don't deserve your success. And while anyone can experience this, the research consistently shows that women report these feelings at higher rates than men. In surveys of working adults, more than half of women say they've experienced imposter feelings, compared with a very small share of men. Among women who already reached executive roles, around 3/4 say they felt like an imposter at some point in their careers. But let's talk about something that isn't always highlighted. That is the role of marginalization. For women who also belong to historically underrepresented groups, whether by race, ethnicity, gender identity, or sexual orientation, these doubts often run deeper and louder. Research has found that people who identify as non-binary or LGBTQ+ report even higher rates of imposter feelings than the general population. And in studies focused on training environments like medical schools or STEM fields, individuals from racially minoritized groups frequently report higher levels of imposter phenomenon compared with their peers. And part of what intensifies this experience is what scholars describe as intersectionality. Some of you may have heard of this term, but it's the idea, coined by Kimberly Crenshaw, the idea that overlapping identities don't just add up, but they interact in ways that create unique pressures and barriers. So women of color, disabled women, trans women, and queer women may experience subtle and overt signs at work, such as microaggressions, stereotyping, exclusion from networks. And these reinforce the feeling that they are outsiders or exceptions. I know I've experienced this in many situations, right? So imagine stepping into a room where you're one of the few who looks like you, who sounds like you, who lives the life you've lived. This is my everyday life. Now imagine making a big pitch or presenting an idea or speaking up in a meeting, only to have someone assume you're in a junior role or overlook your contribution. Those experiences are not just individual slights, they actually send a message about your place in that space. And again, those messages get internalized and reinforced, feeding imposters' feelings even when your resume and your results say otherwise. So yes, if you're hearing that inner voice and wondering, why me? There are reasons that go beyond personal insecurity. You're reacting to real patterns in workplaces and cultures that weren't always built to fully include you. And here's the twist that I want to leave you with, is that something that's not advice in a generic sense, but more of a perspective, right? Feeling like an imposter doesn't mean you are one. It often means you're growing, learning, and stepping into territory where you haven't yet rewritten the old narratives about who belongs there. Okay, let me say that again. Feeling like an imposter doesn't mean you are one. It means you're growing, you're learning, and you're stepping into territory where you haven't yet rewritten the old narratives about who belongs there. You don't have to silence those self-doubts instantly. Those voices are often echoes of past messages that didn't belong to you. But know this, the very fact that you're noticing them means you're paying attention and you care about doing well and you are aware. And awareness is not the weakness. It's actually the first step toward owning your success, not just performing it. Thank you so much for tuning into this drop. If that inner critic keeps talking, listen closely. It's often just your ambition in disguise, learning how to find its voice in a world that didn't always teach it how to speak confidently. If you're interested in individualized coaching in terms of speaking confidently, presenting confidently, or even just having more confidence in your relationships in your workplace, drop us an email or leave a review. Any of those. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.